a smart at-home athletic training program with a Yale connection. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin, and I'm joined in this edition by a friend, former classmate, Princeton University NBA and ABA great, recently named to the Legends of Ivy League Basketball, Brian Taylor. Great to see you, Brian.
Great to see you, homeboy.
And joining us from a startup called Launchpad, our Yale men's basketball captain, class of 22, Jalen Gabbidon. Hi, Jalen.
Hey, how's it going?
Terrific. And the co-founder of Launchpad, a basketball alumnus at Yale, class of 2007, Jason Abromaitis. Great to see you too, Jason.
For having us.
Well, so Jalen, let's start out. You're a computer science major and the chief technology officer of this new company, which is aimed at helping athletes build fast twitch muscle. Give us the background on what that is and how this came about.
Yeah, so, actually, I met Jason during COVID through my coach, because the Ivy League was canceling, basketball throughout the 2020-21 season. I was getting ready to graduate and move on with my life and step away from the game. And Coach Jones, was trying to convince everyone to take gap years to come back because you can't play as a graduate student in the Ivy League. And so he brought on a lot of guest speakers from, the league, former alumni, to talk to us about different opportunities. And so one day he connected me with Jason and told me, they were building this thing called Launchpad, where, for kids to get more athletic, at home, make training more accessible and such. And it kind of just piqued my interest. And a month later, moved into his basement in Denver. I had never been to Denver. And so that was kind of the origin story from my side of how I got involved in Launchpad. And obviously, it's Jason, they started a little bit prior to me arriving. And so the story from how it originally was, conceived is a little bit different. But, we've been working on it for about a year and a half now, and we're launching in about a month or so.
That sounds exciting. Jason, describe for me what this is all about. For those of us who maybe don't have it or don't know what it is, what is fast twitch muscle?
Yeah, I wish I had more of it as well. So, as Jalen said, it's something that we had talked about a little bit before I met Jalen, and I had previously run a B2B SaaS startup that had gone well. And in doing that, thought a lot about what I wanted to do next, as that reached a natural transition point. And with that, one of the things that has meant a lot to me, obviously, has been basketball, and the things that it's done for me in my life, that people helped me to meet, Jalen included. And with that, the thing that I remembered back in my youth was how hard it was to become more athletic, and how difficult it was to find good resources to educate you on how to move more quickly, to jump higher. Many people listening may remember jump soles or strength shoes that were advertised in East Bay magazine that were promising 10 inches of vertical jump gain. And as young kids, there was nothing we wouldn't do to try to make that little bit of difference between making varsity or not making varsity, starting or being star on a team, or being able to play in college. And I think, for those of us like myself who were especially deficient in fast twitch muscle at a young age, it was something that was really meaningful when came by at least a little bit of it. And so giving kids the opportunity to take sports as far as they can, and to take from sports everything that they can, is something that's meant a lot to us. And, I don't have any illusions that every kid is going to get to travel the world because of basketball, but they'll meet lifelong friends. They'll get to be part of teams longer, and they'll get to see the reward that putting in work actually does produce results, and committing to something is actually worth it. So that's why we're doing this. As for what fast twitch muscle is, there's all sorts of science that I will butcher. Doug Goldstein, our third co-founder, is really the science genius on how to train. He trains dozens of pro Olympic athletes, in addition to being a doctor of physical therapy. And so safety and the well-being of young athletes as they train has been really front and center for us in helping to cut against some things that are less healthful that are promoted to kids these days.
Well, when I think about quick and jumping higher, I think about Brian Taylor. Brian, tell you must be happy to see stories like this because you've spent a career after pro ball in education too.
Yeah, I love hearing about their startup. I think it's going to do very, very well because a lot of kids are looking to jump higher, and then more than anything, they have a colleague that they're working with that understands the importance of staying healthy while you're trying to improve your skills and your jumping. If everybody wants to jump high, it makes a big difference, especially in today's game. But for me, it was just plain the way I think I was just blessed with the ability to jump high. Really didn't do much training as a kid. I could just imagine if I had this technology when I was a kid, what I would be able to do. But this is definitely needed. The kids are going to love it because from what I'm hearing, they could work on this at home and then build that fast twitch muscle, which means that you'll be skying high.
Jalen, step us through the user experience, and Jason too. Take us through what this is going to be like. This is an app that the young people, maybe a few older ones, can download and work with. Describe it for us, what the experience is.
Yeah, so basically, so I'll start like, let's say you download the app for the first time, you're in Launchpad, you set up your, obviously sign up, you set up your account. So we ask you a few basic questions like how old you are, what sports do you play, like your goals, like, simple stuff like that. And based on that information, we're building custom programs to you. Like if you're a 22-year-old who's wants to jump higher, your programs are going to look a lot different than someone who's 14 and wants to be get in better shape, or just generally learn how to move better, or be stronger, be healthier, or whatever on the court. And so depending on what those variables, we build programs specifically for you. So as you get into the app, there's a few different areas you can go to. So first one we call the weight room, which is obviously where you work out, right? So in the weight room, there's options where you can toggle whether you're home or your gym. So based on whether you say you're home or your gym, your workouts factor in what equipment you have available to you. And then obviously you can start your workout. So we can loop back to that. You can go to something called the locker room. So the locker room is where it's, you can interact with other people on the app. It's kind of like a social feature where you can, if you're on a team, for example, on the platform, there are things called teams where you and your friends can get together and earn points together by completing challenges as a team. For example, like if everyone works out in a day, or everyone completes a vertical jump challenge, or everyone does, something together, you guys can earn points together as a team. So that's kind of the locker room, is where you socialize. And then there's the equipment room, which is going to be basically everything on the platform is you earn points. And in the equipment room, you can redeem these points for things, in-app things. You can redeem pretty much points for, profile bonuses. You could do, basic gear, like maybe if you want resistance bands, you can redeem points. We'll be able to give kids resistance bands or a little bit like extra training gear that's useful. And so those are kind of the three core aspects. It's like the equipment room, the locker room, and the weight room. And kind of like what we're known for is our AI training. And so as you start a workout, like we've spent the last year building what we call Speed AI, which is a bunch of AI models that we developed that basically you take your phone, you prop it up on a wall as you're working out, and it tracks you and counts your reps, your speed. It measures your vertical jump. And by doing all these things, we can help enforce that you're training the right way to maximize, what Doug would say adaptations are, vertical jump increases, speed increases, et cetera. Because, if you want to jump high, you have to be able to move weight fast, right? You're not trying to just move 400 pounds as slow as you can. You're trying to learn how to move as much weight as you can, as fast as you can. And so by tracking your speed as you're working out, we're able to enforce that you're building the right type of muscle that's going to actually get you to that next level. So that's all done with your phone and a camera. Like there's no special additions needed, no anything. You just prop your phone up and it counts and tracks for you. and tells you if you're doing it well, flashes green. If you're going too slow because it's too heavy for you, what we're trying to do, it flashes red. And so through that, it helps you actually build fast twitch muscle in that way.
Wow.
Jalen's being modest there. Right? First of all, Jalen, I appreciate you saying we. Jalen built the tech. None of us are able to contribute in that area. But the really nice thing about this speed AI capability that Jalen's developed and really is Launchpad secret sauce is that we've watched kids use it and they instantly improve their form and train more safely when we change their mindset from how much weight do I lift to how fast do I move. And it also makes it much less socially anxious to be in a weight room environment as a kid, where as a freshman in high school, you're nervous about how little you lift compared to the seniors, right? And it's been a long time for all of us since that phase of our lives and remembering what it felt like. But when we get kids to be able to have scores that are comparable to each other because speed is what matters, all of a sudden it becomes a much more accepting environment, and it's a safer environment, which is so key as well.
Is there an age range you're targeting with this? It would seem to me that, okay, you've got the teenagers, but you've also got the potential for selling this into beyond high school, into college teams, and maybe even pros. They may not have this technology.
Yeah, I think it's, our core customer, we've defined that the Launchpad target is a 13 to 18-year-old who's highly motivated, really wants to make varsity. This is their year, or they want to make college. And what we've seen is a lot of interest younger as well. And the type of training for younger than 13 is slightly different, right? We're talking about dealing with puberty, pre-puberty, and a different need from a safety and a capability perspective. When we get onto the older side, post 18, we start to deal with sometimes challenges with college strength coaches or pro strength coaches, and in that mold, we've talked a lot about things that we can do to support those folks, and we have some of those college and pro teams looking to use our technology in a way that's a slight deviation from the UX that Jalen walked through. The other side of it is, and Fred, you joked earlier about slightly older. We have a lot of folks that are in their 30s or 40s who would like to either be able to dunk for the first time or maybe stretch out their youth a little bit longer. And we do expect to see a little bit of an organic interest from folks that are looking to do better in their men's leagues or their women's leagues and want to make sure that no one knows that they're trying so hard. So
it sounds like fun.
Hey, Brian, you've worked with so many kids over the years. So tell us what your thoughts are about something like this coming to market. And
I think it's right on time, to be honest with you, because I know how much kids run to improve their physical abilities. And of course, jumping is something that everyone loves to do. I know one of the things that kids were always asking me to do was dunk, and I lost my dunking ability when I snapped my Achilles when I was 30. But every time I would go and do a workout or do a clinic, the kids would say, "Come on, Mr. Taylor, I want to see you dunk. I want to see you dunk." So young people want to be able to jump higher. They want to be able to dunk. So I think this is very, very an attractive technology. It's right on time.
tell us about the pricing and, again, the availability. You're saying this is coming to market in the next few weeks or so.
Yeah, so the pricing will be $20 a month for the subscription, with discounts available for prepaying a year or 2 years of service, as well as if you're coming in through a team. So we're working with a number of teams and organizations who are making discounts available to members of those teams. If anyone listening wants access at a discounted rate for being a listener to Techstination, just email jason@launchpad.fit, and I'd love to help you out and make sure that we get people in the app. And one of the things that go back to why we're doing this, I don't want a lack of access to be the reason that someone can't make it to their dreams in sports. And so we're working really hard to make sure that we've got the right model in terms of affordability, but also making those points that Jalen referenced, actually be motivating, and also to make sure that we're able to bring in the right quality athletes and instruction to make sure that the training that kids get is what's needed. And then, on the points, as Jalen mentioned, those do have real world value. So that's something that we're going to continue to work on what's the right way to make sure we reward kids for sticking with it.
There's another aspect to this that Jalen, you're graduating from Yale computer science. You could write a ticket to an awful lot of places. So I want to congratulate Jason on landing you, but tell us what your thoughts are about your career and what you're doing ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like my, postseason, it's like life hits you. Postseason, your senior year, like life hits you hard. It's like, I can't just put things off anymore, so there's lots of things going on, but, I think like I've worked on Launchpad since August 16th, 2020 was the first day I started working on Launchpad.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's something that's just become like my passion. It's something that like I've dedicated a lot of time to, and like, something I've planned to pursue full time, regardless, of this, of any situation, primarily because, like I said, I'm 23. Like I have time to take, a chance on things and to really put myself out there and really see if I can build something, And so I'm definitely planning to, pursue this, as far as it goes. Like I said, we're excited to launch next month, and just going to take it from there.
Well, I know there are great things ahead for you and the company. And as I was saying, Jason, congratulations on being able to land somebody like Jalen and bring him into the company. He's an entrepreneur at 23 with a great future ahead. And you've been through this before, you said.
And one thing I'll give Coach Jones a lot of credit is as great as he's done coaching on the basketball side, and I know Brian, maybe Yale was a little bit of a break in the schedule back when you were playing, although we go back to the Kaminsky days just a little bit before you. I know there were some times when Yale was good, but Jalen has been a part of making the program better. One of the things, Coach Jones does an even better job of maintaining the network, and the fact that he introduced me and Jalen a year and a half ago, whatever it was now, that's the stuff he's even better at, that is a more important part of his job. And Jalen does have absolutely anything available to him in the world with his skills, his abilities that go even beyond development. And I've told him as much. So Fred, you're not making me more scared to lose him than I already am. But but I think that the thing that is really impressive is Jalen knows that, and he knows, however, he's young and how light his life is. I look back on how light I was at 23 and didn't appreciate. I started out in consulting and didn't appreciate that I could have lived on a couch and eaten ramen and would have been fine. But instead thought that I needed to stay on this really tried and true career path. And I don't have regrets, but I do wish I had more perspective like Jalen already has to say this is a time to take risks. And I'm just appreciative that he thinks that I'm a risk worth that taking a risk with me is worth taking, rather.
Well, I love the tip of the hat to the coach, and Brian, your old college coach. He's still with us, right? Not
yes,
coaching.
Coach Carrell is 91. A friend of mine, Armandale, went to see him with a couple of his teammates this last week. He said he's a little frail, but his mind is still sharp, and he's hanging in there for an older guy. Of course, what keeps me going is his passion for basketball. Of course, he just loves it. And so they're talking about the importance of the coaches realizing that there's life after basketball. And Coach Jones has done a tremendous job of not only winning basketball games, but developing great men like Jason and Jalens. So congratulations to both of them and continued success. And if there's any way that I could be of support and help to you, don't be afraid to reach out.
appreciate that very much. Yeah, I think, one of the things also taken away from Coach Jones is the importance of culture and how much he's built a culture of really, you walk onto a Yale team 10 years ago or today, and it feels like the same place. It feels like the same guys, like-minded, have a broader view of the world and still take basketball seriously and care about each other. And I think that's something that we want to make sure at Launchpad we're doing the same way, is building that culture that doesn't graduate, to use the cliche.
Yep.
Well, in the basketball world, I hear there's a little game tonight. So let me ask each of you who you like tonight. Brian?
Well, I thought watching North Carolina and Duke, that the winner of that game would probably be national champions, but I was really impressed with Kansas and their balance. They got an inside-outside game, very talented team. I watched them close up early in the season when they played St. John's. Fred, my younger son coaches at St. John's. And so I went to see them when they were they christened the new arena in Long Island. I had a chance to see them close up, and I was really impressed with the inside-outside game. Very, very talented team with great coaching. I think they have a real shot of, winning tonight. But North Carolina, I think they peaked at the right time. So it's going to be a very, very competitive game. If I had to go to Las Vegas and bet some money on who's going to walk away from the championship tonight, I'd probably say North Carolina, but it very easily could be Kansas.
Very good. Jalen?
I'm going to take Kansas tonight. I like UNC and want them to win. Obviously, new coach. I think it'd be great for him. But I watched Kansas play all year, and they're just disgusting. I mean, the way they move the ball so fast, and they're huge. And so, also the fact that North Carolina, Armando Bacot looked like he tweaked his ankle. Don't know how he's going to be feeling. He's very active usually. And so I don't know if he's going to be as active as he normally is. And obviously Kansas has lots of size. They kind of pummeled Villanova in the paint the last game. So with all that, I'm taking Kansas.
Jason?
It's hard to bet against North Carolina with how they've been streaking and also just, I think, playing with nothing to lose. No one expected them to be here, let alone a few rounds ago. And so I think nothing I know anything about the pressure of this sort of a game. My wife does, but I've got to imagine whoever plays looser wins, and North Carolina has a lot of reason to be looser.
You brought her up. Tell our audience a little bit about your wife.
Yeah, she played at UConn and in the WNBA for a few years and won.
That's almost enough said, but
yeah, it was a little tough last night. We were flying home watching the game, and UConn could have used a little bit of help on the boards. Maybe a little bit of Launchpad help, but they
right.
Giving up 16 offensive rebounds in the first half is a tough way to win games. But she had a really nice basketball career, and it's been really nice to be able to work with her a little bit on this. We've kept the right distance where she's involved and she's able to support this. And it's also something we want to make sure that we're making a product that serves young women as well, for how many products in sports are frankly condescending, pink versions of male products, and that's not quite right. They have different needs, and so we want to make sure we're supporting them as well.
Terrific. Well, congratulations again. Where can people go for more info about the new Launchpad app?
Yeah, if they go to launchpad.fit, they can sign up with their phone number to be notified as soon as the app is live. And if they can give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, Jalen's been doing a great job of putting information out there. Launchpad Fit, look us up on those platforms. And feel free to email us directly, Jalen@launchpad.fit, Jason@launchpad.fit. We love customer input and input from really all folks as we make sure that we're iterating and building the right thing to support this goal.
Well, Jason, Jalen, and Brian, thank you all for taking the time with us. Really appreciate it.
Best wishes, gentlemen.
Thank you so much
for having us. Thank you.